The first king. In the beginning, the world was chaos. The winds howled, the seas raged, and the earth trembled beneath the feet of those who dared to tread. The tribes, scattered and broken, fought for scraps of power, but none could stand united. The gods above, distant and silent, watched from their thrones, indifferent to the suffering below. But then, from the heart of the storms, a man arose. His name was Jalen, a warrior born of fire and stone, and his eyes burned with a vision of a future none had dared to imagine. When the battlefields were littered with the broken, he stood untouched, his armor gleaming, his sword raised high, demanding the chaos cease. "Who will stand with me?" he called out, his voice as deep as thunder. And for the first time, the warriors stopped fighting. They turned to him, sensing something ancient and powerful in his presence, a spark of divine fate igniting within their hearts. Jalen was not a man of fate alone. He was chosen. The gods themselves had whispered his name, binding him to a destiny that none could deny. With each step he commanded the winds to calm, the seas to still, and the earth to bow. His vision was clear: unity, law, and order. Under his rule there would be no more wars, no more bloodshed. The gods had spoken, and he was their messenger. But not all were pleased with his rise. Rival tribes, fierce and proud, saw him as a threat. They gathered their forces in secret, waiting for the moment to strike. Jalen, ever vigilant, sensed their movements and prepared for the final battle. On the eve of the clash, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he stood before his people, his voice steady but full of purpose. "We will face darkness together," he said, "but we will rise as one. This is not just my fight, it is ours." The battle raged into the night, fierce and unrelenting, but Jalen's will was iron. The rivals faltered under his gaze, their weapons losing their edge as they saw the unity he embodied. One by one, they surrendered. And when the dawn broke, it was Jalen who stood victorious, his blade still glowing with the light of the gods. With his final enemy kneeling before him, he raised his sword high, a signal to all. "This is the law," he declared, his voice echoing across the land. "Under the sun, we are one. Under the stars, we are bound by fate. No more bloodshed, no more war. The world will be as the gods intended." And so Jalen became the first king, not by birth, but by the strength of his vision, his will, and the gods' blessing. His kingdom flourished, and his laws, forged in the fires of battle, guided the people for generations to come. But the true test of a king is not just in victory. It is in the peace that follows, in the legacy that endures. And so, even as Jalen grew old, his story was told in every corner of the land, a legend of a man who brought order to chaos and law to the hearts of men. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.